The idea for this project, was this based on something that you had read or heard of? Was this all original? Where did this idea originate from?
It's all original. You know, I didn't even know I was gonna write this. I was writing another completely different film about a husband and a wife who one goes paralyzed. Has nothing to do with this. And I got a how do you call, a writer's blackout. I got in a hole and I couldn't figure out how to get out while I was writing the other story. And I was in the middle of nowhere. I don't even remember where I was. I normally, when I go write, I try to go to places that I don't remember where I was now. I think, you remember?
Indiana.
Indiana. So I rented this little place. And normally I'd say no TVs, no distractions. At the time I needed a distraction to think outside the box. And I found a little TV with an antenna. There was no cable or anything. I picked up one channel. Actually, it was two channels. I remember the other channel. But one of the channels was the History Channel. And I kind of picked it up. I just wanted to kind of, and it was Truman talking about the bomb. And, you know, I'm from Mexico. I didn't know the bomb was called Little Boy. And that in itself kind of took my brain into, I literally stayed, and little by little I was like, kid, his nickname is Little Boy, and everything kind of is like a math problem. And I was already there for 2 weeks, and literally within 4 hours I had the whole arc of the story. Of course, those 2 hours took me 3 years to put on paper.
Now, where was this filmed?
In Mexico. So this movie, when I finished, they budgeted for $60 million. One producer told me, look, the only way to make this movie harder is to shoot it underwater. You know, you have a period movie with a 7-year-old boy, you know, people don't really like this kind of movies anymore, you know, it's completely outdated. So everything was no, 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 no. This movie is about believing in the impossible. So the more he made it more impossible, the more I actually liked it, because I was like, that's exactly what I wrote. This kid thought that he could end World War II. I think I can make this movie. And at that time, I thought we didn't have no $1 on the budget. So we started looking at the options, if we can lower the budget, and if it was impossible to lower the budget in the US. And we started looking around all around the world to see if we can lower it. And of course, unfortunately, in Mexico, everything is cheaper. So we decided to budget it. What happens if we build the entire town? What happens if we build everything? And we built the entire town. Streets, telephone poles, even the port when the kid stands, we built that into the water. You know, I remember when they were building that, it was so dangerous because using major power, electrical power. And at the end, you know, they gave us the budget and says, you know, it cost just this much to build an entire town. And it was like, honeyed, and it was like incredible. I was like, okay. So we budgeted from 60 to now to 20, and then we went and started traveling all around the country to raise the money, and the story was strong enough that we raised $20 million within 8 months.
It was at the James Cameron Studios in Rosarito when he shot Titanic, so that's where we were. It's a beautiful studio, but it was absolutely empty because no one wanted to shoot in Mexico. We even had Kevin James, who's under contract with Sony. They didn't want to let him even come to shoot, so they would fly him in on a helicopter and fly him back to San Diego. And once he saw, like, oh my gosh, this is so ridiculous, I can't believe I'm flying in and out on a helicopter, it's totally fine. But it was great. It was they were very accommodating. It was a wonderful studio to shoot at.
What's the status of the town? Did you tear it down afterwards? Is
well,
it still there?
Every movie will go over budget. There's not one single movie that doesn't go over budget. And if they tell you they didn't go over budget, they're lying to you. It's 100%. It's like, you know, it's like a contractor. They're like, oh, how much is it going to cost me to remodel the kitchen, you know?
Yeah.
Whatever they tell you, you know, you have to put at least 20, 30% over that.
But is the town that you guys built still there?
Yeah,
or?
so when we were over budget, we needed money. So I called the owner of the studio and I made a deal. I said, hey, you know, you have to leave a major deposit, you know? So it was like around $800,000 deposit, and I needed that kind of money to finish the movie. I said, well, can I have my deposit back and you keep the town? And he said, deal.
You set out to make a movie and you sell a town.
Yeah, so I sold the town to him. So he has a town in there. Now he's like, what do I do with this town?
Wow.